And as we do each and every 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesdays, folks, we're going to talk to our man Basil Chapman. You can listen to Basil's outstanding program, folks, the Tiger Technicians Hour, every morning, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And check out his daily newsletter, The Opening Call. You head over to the newsletter tab at TFNN, folks. You'll see that opening call right there. Basil just put together a great webinar. You can check that out. The archive of that webinar is available for all subscribers. It comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, folks. You sign up for the month, you gain access to the newsletter. The webinars, it's $149, and you get a 30-day money-back guarantee. The webinars are tremendous, and he just did one in the last month. You can check that out. Basil Chapman, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tommy. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. We got quite a little market here, Basil. Pretty remarkable. You know, there's a lot going on, and S&P's all-time highs, right? Dow right there as well. We'll talk about it. Boy, the metal market. What are you looking at most in this market, Basil? We got a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Very short term over the last couple of days, even though a lot of our positions have been at all-time highs. I said to subscribers, we've got to be a little careful. The market's a little too nonchalant. There is the tariff news coming out tomorrow. It could actually have a little shaking to the market, but what I am looking at is this. In the Dow, today we took off before the market opened, before this 400-point decline, we took a little bit off the added-on position that we've got from our core positions. We added another position to the Dow on the long side back on the 24th of November. Took a little bit off here because I'll tell you why. I've got this as a peak E with a chance today that we've got what I call a Chapman Wave 2-bar reversal. I'll talk about that more tomorrow in my show, The Tiger Technicians Hour. Basically, it's a fractional high either on the left side or the very next bar has a fractional lower high. It's just they are so close, and then the market turns down. It's almost like a little mini double top. So I'm watching that closely. If you see it, you can see it here in the S&P. Look, 6986.33 was the high yesterday. Today is 6985, just a tad under. I'm watching that closely. The long position we have in the IWM, we still have, here it is at an all-time high, leg D. And in D, I started to get a little cautious. The other thing is this. And to me, this is going to be quite fascinating. In the positions that we have, we've still got Alcoa. I mean, you spoke about the webinar. What I was speaking about in the webinar are positions we added. We've got long positions that, sectors that would hardly ever discussed as really very important to the market. Everyone's talking about high tech. Alcoa is certainly not high-tech, although I'm sure they use high-tech. This is acting very well, all-time high today. General Electric has done very well. We added to that position recently, and here it is, a little bit off the all-time high. General Motors, I mean, these are the old names, General Motors. And funnily enough, none of them really are Dow stocks. They're not in the Dow anymore. They used to be, they're not. So what I'm looking at here is within the context of a possible, just a short-term trend change. The longer term, remember I spoke about the monthly charts. The monthly charts are basically, look at this, here's the Dow, still in a leg A to the upside. It means it should still go to a peak A. That means a month that it pulls back without a new high, then a leg B, and then a peak B, then a leg C. This takes you to mid-year before you make some kind of a peak D potential top. But I was also looking at this inside channel, and I said every time prices get into that, they pull back quite sharply. So it's just kind of a little bit of a warning sign to me to say, hey, you might have some positions that are doing well, but you got to be prepared. And we've raised a little cash to be able to put to work because we'd like to add to some of our positions that have done very well. What I wanted to show you is that the XLF, which is always very important to me. Look at that pullback. There's a Chapman Wave 2-bar reversal at that all-time high, at that peak E. And it's pulling back from the 56 area. It's trading at 54. Not a big deal, but look at that inside track repellent zone in the weekly chart. So I've spoken to you very often. I've shown this particular chart right here, that this is an incredible coincidence in the monthly charts, how the monthly pink 9-period exponential, XLF, select financial ETF. This is a monthly chart. Each one of these bars is a month. coincides exactly with the highs and lows of the SPY 500 fund. So I'm watching to see whether or not they take out last month's low, because that'll be important to me, because I like to think that when the financials are doing well, that's usually very good for the market. Now, here's something that's really important. Let me get to this chart right here. So within the context of rotation, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, I had a EUR USD. Look at this. This is the Japanese. Oops. No, that's the euro. Why am I doing that? USD JPY. USD JPY currency pair. Look at this. Screaming to this huge, look at this monthly chart, weekly chart first. The weekly chart has this big cup formation, and it's breaking out, going towards highs that were made back in 2024. Look at the monthly chart, very strong. Look at the dollar. The dollar suddenly finding some strength. So when I see this, I say, okay, the dollar's acting okay. It's not great, but it is moving towards the upside. So I thought, all right, we are still holding our Bitcoin from some time ago. If there's some kind of a rotation, then you need to be watching Bitcoin. I mentioned yesterday, I mentioned it again today in my show. Look at Bitcoin. It's up 3,095. This is the first time you've got a really strong candle going towards this rectangle resistance area. If Bitcoin goes to 95,700, that's a breakout. So I'm looking at this, I'm saying, maybe it's just time for a little bit of a pullback. Tomorrow we'll be looking closer at the gold and silver. But here's another thing. Look at the VIX index. The VIX index, for the very first time, has seen the 9-period moving average go green, and it's been pink since it broke down back in end of November after the big 28.27 spike on the 28th of November. So I'm watching that very closely, because if the VIX happens to go to the 200-period moving average at 17.58, we could see the Dow, which is down 444, have another spill coming up in the next couple of days. So I'm looking at the rotation through the different areas. I'd mentioned to you some time ago that Robinhood, I think, is getting closer and closer to being tied towards the Bitcoin relationship. And look, finally it's moving up, but we're still long, and we've added to our long position. This is at 120.37 of 286. If Bitcoin actually gets to 124 by Friday or Monday, together with the Bitcoin, finally we could see a rally that's sustained in that particular area. I happen to tie the two together. I don't know if they are, but I've linked them quite well before. Let's see if it works this time. And one other aspect towards all these different, the rotation through the different sectors is, I don't yet see you mentioned Caterpillar. Someone mentioned Caterpillar. Look at this all-time high in Caterpillar. So the heavy-duty equipment, the deep cyclicals, the industrials are holding very well. Looking out, that is really positive. So I think on a very short-term basis, I'm looking at this and I'm just saying, you got to be a little careful here. Right at the open today, before the open, we actually took some profits in that short-term trade in the Dow. We've still got our core positions. We're still only long. We're waiting to see. There's a stock that we were looking at that we actually owned from the 22s. It ran up to the 70s, pulled back, and we still like it a lot. And that's Iran. That's the energy. This is generates data generation center, renewable energy, GPUs. So we're still looking at the long side, but I might be adding a short position tomorrow.
Folks, get in that opening call. Great trade on that Dow, Basil. Great stuff. Appreciate the update as always. Check out that Tiger Technicians Hour tomorrow. Basil, have a great one, man. We'll be listening tomorrow. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Tommy.
Thank you. We'll be right back.